middle of the night and you're staring at the ceiling, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here and say something's up. Hey, what's up? What are you thinking about? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. But if you do want to tell me, if you do want to talk about it, I'm here. I'll get sleep when I need it. Right now, you need somebody. And that somebody's me. I love you. You matter more than a few extra minutes of unconsciousness. You are my priority. Always. Do you want to talk about it? Hey. It's me. You don't have to give the qualifiers. You don't have to second guess it. I know you. You can just say how it feels. You don't have to worry about getting the delivery perfect. It's okay, babe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Not at all. I think that makes a lot of sense. Come here. You know what I think? I think that you are a person who is really hard on yourself. Give me a sec. I think that you are somebody with a really deep well of feelings inside of you. And I think when that well fills and reaches the surface, that's not something you're as used to, because even though the feelings run deep, they live deep too. And when something happens that brings them to the surface in a way some trouble regulating with your normal toolkit, that's when you get really hard on yourself. I think you set a lot of expectations on yourself of how you're supposed to feel, or how much or how little you're supposed to feel. And I don't think you're very fair with yourself when you don't fall within those expectations. I think you have an incredible kindness in you for other people when they're struggling. But sometimes you have trouble showing that to yourself, too. It's okay to feel something like that in the moment. It's okay to sit with that for a while and let yourself experience it. I think you can learn a lot in those moments of stillness when you just let the feeling live. And it can be really uncomfortable. And it can feel really infuriating because you're running through the script in your head, looking at all the facts and reliving the moment over and over again. And in that moment, it feels like a loop that you're never gonna get better from. And there's a part of you that thinks if you just run through it one more time, if you just relive it one more time, something will click and you'll break out of the loop. But sometimes you're just gonna loop for a while. That's part of being human. You don't want to lose yourself to that, but it's a reality that it is gonna stick with you for a while. And for a while, it's gonna feel bigger than you want it to. And it's gonna bleed into things, and it's gonna try to make associations that you don't want it to make, because you don't want to give it any ground. But letting yourself feel it in a controlled way, in a supported way, experiencing it and sitting with it, that's what lets it loosen up over time. I get that. You're right. We were all there. We did all see the same thing. But we're not the same people. That's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean one of us is a stronger person than the others. It's just a reality that affects the way we come back from things. It affects the way we think about things and the way we feel them and the connections that we make with them. I've got a different past than David, than his mate, than Sam, than even you. We're all different people coming to the table with different experiences. David and I have more history with magic and the craziness that can bring. That's not a good or a bad thing, that's just part of who we are. So, the way we process what happened is going to be different than what you and his mate are, just from that perspective alone. But even within that, we're totally different people. David's dealt with loss in ways I haven't had to. I've dealt with shit he hasn't. You can't compare your reaction to anybody else's. Even David's mate. Yeah, maybe you two came into it with the most similar backgrounds, but you're still completely different people. If they're not having trouble sleeping after the summit, great. But just because you are doesn't mean you're a worse person or less in tune or less mature or less anything. You're allowed to struggle, even if other people aren't, nor if they're struggling in different ways. I don't want you to ever think less of yourself because of something like that. After the inversion, I couldn't sleep. I was scared to look at my own body and my scars. I felt trapped in this loop of what ifs, even after other people had figured out how to move on with their lives. I really struggled. Did you think less of me for that? Exactly. So why should you think less of yourself for struggling in your own way? You never made me feel anything but loved and supported, even in the darkest moments of that. Try to give yourself some of that love and support too. I'm here, babe. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. You are so fucking loved. I don't want you to be perfect. I don't want you to be anything other than yourself. With feelings, with struggles, with highs and lows, and sleepless nights, and times when you want to be alone, and times when you want someone to hold you. All of that stuff is honest. And that's all I ever want. Because then I know how to help. because that's what I want to be for you. That's what we are for each other. A partner. A best friend. I love you. Can I hold you? You don't have to fall asleep if you're not ready. I might end up falling asleep, but if I do, you can wake me up. If you need to talk, if you need me to hold you tighter, if you need me to move because your arm falls asleep, wake me up. I wish I could make it all better for you. I wish I could hold on to it for a while so you could get some sleep. I'm sorry that I can't do more than just be here right now. But I'm here in any way that can help.